Justice for persevering during our unfortunate recent government shutdown. I'm sorry for the stress that was created, and I hope that we're able to avoid future shutdowns by enacting timely appropriation bills, including Commerce Justice Science. In order to accomplish this and write the fiscal year 20 CJS appropriation bill, this committee needs to understand the department's resource needs. The President's FY20 budget request proposes over $30 billion for the Department of Justice. Because you indicated yesterday you will report to Congress on the Mueller investigation next week, it's my hope that the budget request will remain the major focus of today's hearing. I'm not naive, but I hope that's the case. I would like to begin, though, by asking you a question about your testimony yesterday. I would like for you to respond during your time in regard to clarifying an issue related to the Mueller report. When we met before your confirmation, you and I met, I told you I'd like to see the Mueller report released to the public as expeditiously as possible and to the fullest extent possible as allowed by law. Will you, as I hope, release the redacted version of the actual report Special Counsel Mueller submitted to you, or did you intend to indicate in your testimony comments yesterday that you will only provide a report of your own findings that are derived from the Mueller report? Now, the focus of this hearing, President's fiscal year 20 budget request. The Department's FY20 request is not based off of the Department's FY19 appropriation and therefore does not contemplate the increases provided or the government-wide 1.9% increase included for federal employees. Because the baseline of the FY20 request is below the Department's current appropriation, I encourage you to take time today to discuss any needs that may not be adequately represented in the President's budget proposal that's before us. In particular, I hope you will discuss the Department's resource needs as they relate to the First Step Act. I'm an original co-sponsor of that legislation, and I'm concerned to learn that the FY20 request only includes $14 million in additional funds for the implementation of this legislation. That figure is far short of the $75 million that was authorized by Congress. I do note several program increases for the Department of Justice included in the administration's request this year. These increases reflect the administration's priorities, which include strengthening our national security, combating violent crime, cybercrime, drug trafficking, and opioid epidemic. The request also includes enhancement for immigration enforcement and another administration priority under the Executive Office of Immigration Review, EOR, and the Environment and Natural Resources Division. FY20 requests seek $670 million for immigration-related enforcement activities and border security efforts, including 100 additional immigration judge teams, and 10 new positions at the Environment and Natural Resources Division's Land Acquisition Section. While I understand the importance of those increases, I am discouraged and concerned to learn that the request does not include technology enhancements or improvements for EOR. Our FY19 provisions allowed for $25 million for technology improvements to transform EOR's paper system to an electronic case management system. That electronic management system, though incredibly important, was only forward-looking. So the $25 million that we put in place for the Department of Justice did not include paper files associated with the 861,513 cases that are backlogged at ECAS. To encourage this practice, our 19 report language directed the Department to develop a plan for folding existing cases into the electronic case management system. I hope to learn more about both the status of implementing that plan as well as the Department's intentions to incorporate the backlog into the system, and if there are additional needs associated with full implementation of electronic records. Let's discuss those today, Mr. Attorney General. The Department's FY20 request reflects its broad and multifaceted mission of protecting and defending the laws of the United States. Members of the DOJ community, law enforcement community, include the FBI, the DEA, the ATF, U.S. Marshals, and the Bureau of Prisons. and the people who work there put their lives on the line every day to keep our country and communities safe. The department's mission, and especially its law enforcement focus, is central to American safety and stability. It's imperative that Congress ensures the department is adequately equipped to effect its mission, and I look forward to working with you in that endeavor. I also look forward to learning more of the department's request for resources dedicated to the Law Enforcement Mental Wellness Initiative, which includes peer mentoring, mental health checks, and suicide prevention. Unfortunately, a number of indicators now show that for the third straight year, police suicide outnumbered lives lost in the line of duty. Much like our veterans and active duty service members, law enforcement officers need access to comprehensive programs that address mental wellness, something that many jurisdictions struggle to provide the necessary resources to provide. I'll soon turn to Senator Shaheen, but I want to thank you, Attorney General Barr, for your attention and acknowledgement of the committee's requests. Our questions for the record from the FY2019 budget hearing a year ago. As you know, the department's responses to these questions were 8 months late, making it impossible for our committee to consider the department's responses as we crafted our FY19 bill. I want to note that after I brought this to your attention, we received DOJ's responses in very short order. It's my hope, so I thank you for that. It's my hope that under your leadership, the department will continue to respond expeditiously to this year's questions for the records. And one of the things I remember from the conversation we had before your confirmation was your commitment to work closely with Congress and the subcommittee in particular to have an open dialogue and a transparent conversation. And your answer to those questions on the record will be and continue to be appreciated. I would add an additional thank you, which is thank you for your presence here today. This testimony is important, and I now recognize the ranking member, Senator Shaheen.